All right. And we are live. So, as people come in, we'll start answering questions. But this is the Beef and Barnzy show with the Brain Trust today joining us.
Yeah.
All the way from sunny Michigan and balmy Florida. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a little moist here.
Also known as the last resort for me and you, Chris. Team never wrong. Asking for help is usually a pretty difficult thing.
Wow. Shots fired early.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah, but only at myself and you.
Fair enough. I have a feeling I'm going to take a beating on this one. So,
no, I'm pretty sure you can hold your own.
Well,
it can go a lot of ways.
Remains to be seen. So, well, at least my mom's joined us, so we're good there. So,
all right.
Yeah. Well,
hi, Mom.
Someone to defend you.
Oh, there's my girl.
And guess who else has joined? So,
yeah. We can always rely on getting 2 or 3 viewers, can't we, Chris?
Yeah, just a couple here and there. Not many, but just a few. Well, we will kick this off here pretty quickly as we get more viewers. Apologize here. And I guess we'll first start off. Let's talk about Shawn Ryan. You've been a ball rep for how many years now? 5 years?
No.
30?
It just seems like how long. Yeah.
Yeah, but you've also coached everywhere around the world. Where else have you coached?
I worked with the Thailand team for 3.5 years, and then I just did a SEA Games with the Indonesian team.
I can't hear Shawn.
You can't hear Shawn. Huh. I don't know.
No. Are you hearing Shawn, Steve?
Yeah, I can hear Shawn fine.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess I just won't hear Shawn's answers then.
Time to look for new skills.
Well, Shawn's been in Thailand and Indonesia. What was your favorite of those experiences? I guess you can include tour if you'd like as well.
I like tour better. The Asian culture, they tend to wait for you to tell them to move, where at least just because of the culture, where the tour will do it on their own and then come back and ask you why you're wrong.
And then what was the most challenging part of some of those international experiences?
I would all the urethane and the rev rate. I mean, most of those countries just beat the holes in.
Yeah, we think that the rev rate's the highest on tour. I'm not sure it really is.
Yeah. I would say Korea is probably give everyone on tour a challenge.
Certainly the most rev dominant. The rev rate's as high as tour, and they throw it way slower. Well, some of them do. And then our other.
I was about to say, I'm just gonna pop out and come back in again to see if I can hear what Shawn's saying, because it's a bit awkward.
All right, we'll do that.
You keep going.
Stu will join us again momentarily. Could have some software issues. This is fairly new for us as well. But Steve Jacobs, all the way from your parts unknown. So you've been Taylor, Michigan. You've been not Taylor, Belleville.
No. Canton, no.
Canton, and then and helps run the center with his wife at Town and Country Lanes. They're in the Detroit suburbs. Mm-hmm. And been on tour now for 3 years, been coaching now for longer than that. Yeah. Tell us what all you've been doing.
So tour started 4 years ago, working tour up at 900 Global. Had the coaching business, the pro shop business many years prior to that. Now it's just working with you guys when we're out there, home, running the shop, doing as many lessons and clinics as possible, and hanging out with the family now.
Okay. Well, I think my camera's laggy, but I can hear everything, so that's a good start.
There we go. Well, and Steve, we already have a question for you. I guess you can ask Mixley. This is his brother-in-law. And
Yep.
that is your nickname, right? Mixley?
It's one of them.
What do you actually do? The world would like to know.
Try and help you make a cut.
Well, we figured that one out, right, Shawn? All you have to do is just.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
When you're not there.
Yeah. It's the best job in the world now.
We just need to get Gio back.
That's right.
Everybody's favorite bull rep.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Mr. One for one.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Only because the World Series didn't finish.
being a tour rep, I think there's a version of people what they think you guys do, and then what you actually do. They think you're lining all the guys up, you're telling them which balls to throw and where to stand, but in the reality is the psychological and those parts are way tougher. You guys want to touch on that?
Go ahead, Steve. You got this.
Thanks, Shawn. Yeah, I mean the physical side of it is what everybody sees. It's the balls going down the lane. It's a part of the lanes you guys are playing. But what they don't see is we probably work our hardest when you guys are not lined up and don't have the right ball or not in the right part of the lane. Some players will take suggestions, information very easily and very open to it. And there are others that will have more pointed discussions on what they're seeing. And then it's more of convincing and getting through the, at times, anger, frustration, not seeing a clear picture. It's trying to paint it in a way where that individual can understand it.
Yeah, for sure, it's hard. I think the psychology part, having done a little bit of it with you originally on the ladies' side and some of that, the psychology of how you have to talk to me versus talk to Stu, which may be a little closer, versus Tom and Tommy and everybody likes to hear it a little bit different. And now Shawn has been on a couple of different staffs over the last couple of years. Who is the easiest and hardest to talk to, or which type of personalities?
I would say the personality that wants to win and is like, we'll take any suggestion and to go with it. And then the hardest are the Europeans.
Really? And what makes them hardest?
You kind of have to plant the seed of information with them and then let them feel it out and get to where they want to go. Versus where someone like Bill or Tommy.
I'm sorry, I just lost.
Did we freeze?
Seemed like it didn't like us
I
very
don't know
much.
what happened there.
Yeah, it didn't like Shawn's answer. Like
Yeah, it was obviously
Yeah, wow.
a European internet connection.
That's right. Give us a little bit. Back up about 20 seconds and tell us again what you got there.
All right, so I was going to say the European players and a lot of the people that are really analytical. It takes them a long time to do what you're suggesting, whereas the other people, when they're ready to go, like Rash, Tommy, Bill, when they come to you for information, they're coming to you information because they've tried everything that they want to do and they're looking for something else. So the Europeans are you just kind of plant the seed and let it go with it.
We do have one question. You guys can both answer this. So, the PBBT, first of all, what is it? And Steve's showing off some of the wares. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, PBBT is Professional Bowlers Brew Tour. We currently don't have any staff positions going right now. How do we get shirts? I'm pretty sure you have a couple shirts.
You have a Facebook page.
The first one that ordered. We have a Facebook page, Instagram. The online store is connected to our Instagram profile. You guys can check it out. we like to drink beer. We check out all the local breweries in every city we go to find some local flavors. We need time to decompress when we're not at the lanes. So Shawn and I have decided to find breweries and go sample.
Yeah, it happened on the women's tour with Josh, myself, and Steve. We were just visiting some local breweries in Louisville, and we had a few and decided to create something.
I feel this is a good question for you guys, especially, with Chris being around.
Here and there.
We had a cheeseburger once.
Don't ruin my reputation. There we go. Oh, and look who's joined us. Every ball rep's favorite player to work with.
Europeans.
I can say that Mika was retired before I started, so I can't speak to that.
Everybody's hero.
Yeah, he's made all of us look a little bit better on occasion. So
I have a question for Shawn. Which was more frustrating, dealing with players when you were drilling holes in their ball or laying their balls out? Which is more frustrating?
Oh, drilling the holes for sure.
Yeah.
They got to find something to blame it on, and no matter what, it's missed by 64th.
For those of you who don't know, Shawn actually drilled on the PBA truck for a while. You had a signed Stu Williams player card on the front of your drill press for a while.
I did. We kept it real.
Yeah, we kept it real, and it was on there for absolutely ages. That
don't forget my helmet.
The helmet. Oh yeah.
So somebody wants to know an example of planting the seed with the player.
I would probably say Dom is the person I can relate most to this, where you would suggest something. So say you were planting a seed and you wanted him to, I don't know, change balls, but he didn't want to use that ball. So you just suggest the ball, and then you just kind of watch him go through a cycle of ball changes until he gets to the ball that you suggested.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think the European players are more interested in why, not what.
Right.
So that makes it a little easier for us to process in our brains what you're seeing, rather than just a blind, we need to use, I don't know, the idle pearl, just pulling a ball out of thin air. It's more of a you saying, this is what I'm saying, this is what I would suggest. Whereas with some of the other guys, you just throw the idle pearl. Okay. Chris Prather.
Yeah. Pick a ball.
And ironically, Shawn Rash is like that as well, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very much.
Shawn's very committed no matter what.
We'll just go try it.
I can see from your point of view why that's much more attractive to deal with.
Yeah, you got instant results.
Mm-hmm.
I put my big boy pants on a couple of times for you, though, Shawn.
You have pinned down balls. It's been a crazy season.
I mean, just no wonder the coronavirus came around. I made a cut with a pin down ball.
Yeah.
That's why bowling had to stop. They're also skiing in hell.
All right, here comes the justifications flying in from Dubai. So,
man, if we could have got Calderon in here as well, this would have been just a treat. Here's a good question. I think he's talking to you, Shawn, even though he spells it scene.
That was good. I usually try to give an explanation of what I'm seeing throughout the field before I tell somebody to just change balls. Every once in a while, somebody will ask, just pick a ball. What do you think? And they don't even care a reasoning for it. They just want to throw a different ball, and they've run out of ideas. I think that answers it.
There you go, Steve.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. Well, I would say
I'm gonna go back out. On
the female bowlers will listen faster. There is as Shawn was saying, with planting the seed, with some of them, a lot of the females that I've dealt with will just pick up the ball and go with what you say and suggest. Somebody like Chris on the male side, you have to give a very good explanation as to why you want him to go to a certain ball or change zones. So I'd say on the whole, the ladies, not necessarily more, but they'll do it faster. Like Shawn was saying with some of the players, but it's just suggest it and they grab the ball and they'll do it. But there are definitely ladies that are like the European guys that Shawn suggested, where you have to plant the seed and get them to do it on their own.
There's another great one.
The men. The men buy way more adult beverages.
Shawn, followed up with another question, though. Yeah. There isn't really that many buy and go.
What's that?
Like when you want to finish your day, sometimes the men buying you a beer isn't necessarily the best thing in the world, because that means that your day's maybe going to get extended.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And I have to talk to more people.
Yeah. Like we typically leave once the block's over and go somewhere else or back to the hotel.
Yeah, us too.
We'll keep it a little wider here. Kenny Ryan, the Kenny
I like players with heart.
The bronzer is.
It's on LeBron's back.
Yeah. Probably sitting on his couch.
This is a perception that, you know, they say, okay, I'm a technician. I'm at my own bar. If I have been at different times, but actually Steve and I work together, and Shawn and I work together both on shows, and you know, everybody and what they want to see and how they go through a show process is a little bit different. But being able to talk it through with somebody when everything is kind of going faster, as it tends to do on shows, is pretty important. You know, and well, Shawn in particular, he's such a low key guy. He's really good for those situations. As they ramp up, he's kind of the calm in the storm, I think, for myself, and he has been for a lot of players as well. And so, you know, giving a guy what he needs and watching that, and you know, when they have the quartet going in, I think different guys step up for different players, and that's a lot of what happens on those shows. No, it's not balls and telling them what to throw and where to throw, but sometimes it's just getting them in the right place so they can make the shot they need to make.
Yeah, it's not all just the right bowling ball or the right part of the lane. Sometimes you just got to get the player, their head clear. Sometimes they just got a million thoughts going at once. I mean, the shows go so quick. I know it seems like a while on TV, but in real life and live action, it's fast.
Keeping it light today, Shawn. What are you drinking today?
The Tiger.
It's a Bottle Logic peanut butter and raspberry stout.
Oof.
little 11%er.
Oh, light deal. And then Steve, what do you got going there?
I have an IPA from a brewery up in Petoskey, Michigan, called Petoskey Brewing. It's called Juicy, only 6%. Not as heavy hitting as Shawn is right now.
Well, it is afternoon.
I have Diet Mountain Dew. I decided not the fully loaded.
I'm just watering my Chiefs cup. That's about all I got. Steve's dad chipping in here. The toughest pattern we were bowled on. I think universally that 37-foot U.S. Open pattern we bowled at in Omaha has to be in the conversation. As far as the wins, the first U.S. Open was a big one for me. Stu?
I mean, yes. In regards to the that U.S. Open pattern, yeah, that was nearly impossible. What was of all the wins, which one meant the most to you? Probably my first ever tournament abroad in Barcelona, because otherwise I didn't have enough money to be a professional bowler. So that was a clutch one out of college. I avoided a real job for the rest of my life, so it's worked out so well.
All right, you guys, what are the factors you need to consider while drilling a bowling ball for a player? Really vague.
Oil pattern, volume, the player, rev rate, PAP.
Speed.
Yeah, it's not just one factor. There's a lot of variables that go into it. When we pick the ball, like I'm looking for the cover that's matching up for that type of player first, and then with drill numbers, we can change RGs and differentials based on the layouts that we do.
Your brother-in-law jumping in again.
I feel like this is a little mean, Chris. I mean, you've never had any problem buying for me, so I guess it's true you only buy for your friends.
Yeah.
There you go. And that's why Justin doesn't know I ever pull out my wallet. So
this is true.
You're getting a nice one here, Trey, saying that if you do come into the ladies' tour in Longview, he has a good local microbrewery.
Well, if we do get a chance to have the women's tour this year, and we do get to still go to Longview, send that over. It'll probably be needed by that point.
What is your favorite one? What's your favorite
brewery?
BBT stop?
My favorite brew we've been to was Surly, that we went to it.
Yeah, in Minnesota. Yeah.
Minnesota. Yeah. It's like an adult playground for beer drinkers.
Talking beer drinkers, there's a beer drinking legend right there, Bill Green.
Well, then, Bill Green, cheers.
Cheers, boss.
I'm not sure he's drinking the same beers as you. His is more volume rather than quality.
We don't
couch style. So couch style.
Oh yeah.
Mike, not that long. I mean, I did work in a shop, and I did get to watch it. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. I mean, I did get to watch all the Storm stuff for while I was out there, and I did work in a shop, so I'm pretty acclimated with the Storm equipment as well.
We're not talking about football. You and your Patriots can go fly a kite.
Yeah, it happens all the time. I mean, we're not right 100% of the time. They're educated guesses. We try and be right more often than we're wrong, but there's plenty of times when we don't get it right, and there's plenty of times when a player lets us know that we got it wrong. Just like there's times we'll let them know after a block, not in the middle of it, that what they were doing wasn't right when we game plan for the next day. I'd like to say we're 100%, but Stu and Chris can tell you we're not.
But I give you that look if it's just I don't want to do that. It might be the right answer.
Yeah.
I'm just like, are you insane? I'm not throwing that one.
Yep. Until you give up. And then you go for it.
Yep.
Yeah. But giving them the look afterwards, that's not really on you guys. That means you made a suggestion that made sense to us, at least the way I think Stu and I process it. It made enough sense for us to try it. So if it didn't work, then that's not on you. That's that we chose to do it. We don't have to do anything. Yeah. So I don't think that. I think the looks come more like that when you say something, you go, oh, what? The completely different thought train of wherever we're at, which sometimes is what needs to happen. And that's certainly the hard part of talking to the analytical players, I think, is when they're on a completely different path and they need to get over on this path.
Mm-hmm. I think I've had a lot of conversations with this with Shawn during the season. I feel like when I'm most lost, Shawn's most valuable to me because we see the lane so differently that when what I like to see is working, then Shawn doesn't really see the reaction in quite that same way as. But when I'm completely lost, Shawn has like the things that he wants to suggest, the things that I wouldn't necessarily ever try. And I think it's important to understand that with each rep. Like for me, when I'm doing things that work and little tricks and stuff, Doug is a person who's a really useful resource to me because he sees the lane quite similarly to how I want to see it. So that's what I've tended to learn anyway, that like some of the reps are better for certain things, like just the way it goes.
Bobby Gorky chipping in on your beers there. Another professional. David Smith, I think this is a pretty good question. When you guys don't have a good picture, is there a general progression that the reps go through to help to help. And I think, like you say, it's different for analytical players versus just completely trusting players once you've built a relationship. And you two are just two of the best, I think, at building those relationships with players. But what is your progression?
If we're not seeing it, well, if I'm not seeing it, I have no problem going and finding Steve, Doug, Jim, Tim, anybody, and seeing. Even when I worked with Brian O'Keefe, I would just go to him and ask, "What are you seeing right now?" Because I have no picture. It doesn't work. And I mean, that's part of the team. You just get together and you huddle and you figure it out, and then you go back.
And then how do you get the players to see it?
Then we give them the trend of what's going on in the building. I mean, that tends to be the best. I mean, you kind of, the leaderboard is usually scrolling, or you can look it up on your phone and see who's doing what, and go watch them and see what's working, and then go talk and then figure it out. I mean, it's a puzzle. That's what's fun about it.
Yeah, like Shawn said, like it's for us when we're lost, it's team effort. Like Shawn and I talk a lot during the blocks. I mean, like he said, no problem talking with our other team members, with Jim, Tim, Doug, whoever else may be with us that week. And then it is, you go see who's bowling well at that moment, what part of the lane are they in, what type of ball are they using, and then it's conferring with each other, coming up with a concrete plan that we can then pass to the players that we believe in and we think is right. Because part of the key is, like, we have to be convincing with it. If there's doubt in our thought process or the way that we're verbalizing it to you guys, then you're not going to be very committed to do it.
Yeah, I think that sometimes the best thing you can say to a guy is, "I don't know," rather than trying to lead him on a direction that you think is you're committed to. That's not.
Yeah, we have to be honest with you guys. We don't know.
There you go. It's not a bad question. I think a lot of people have perceptions about how that all works. When you have a large staff, how do you decide who to help and when?
That's a hard one.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I don't help the people who are. Go ahead, Steve.
Right. So part of it is, like, where you're standing. Like, if you're standing in a group of players of 4 and there's 3 people struggling there, like, you're going to stay there, and you may not know what position they are in the turn, but you're in that spot at a time. That's where it's good for us that we have 3, 4, 5 of us at events, because we have such a massive staff with the 3 brands. That's part of it. And then Shawn, go ahead and add what you were going to say to it.
I usually tend to watch the board when it comes to that. If I'm standing behind somebody who's leading the tournament, I'm probably not going to stand there very long. I'm either trying to gather information to go help people that are basically trying to get the first cut, and then we can go from there. It's not really a pecking order. It's kind of who's where on that particular day.
Do you game plan with each staff player, or just kind of as a group in general? And then obviously you guys are there during practice sessions, to try and get ideas, although the practice sessions and the tournaments themselves don't always play the same.
When have they?
Yeah, well, really never, but
all right.
I think we just stick to the first part about the, how do you game plan with each guy, or do you do it more as a group thing?
I think guys that have clear pictures going into the day, it's smaller discussions. Where it's some players, it's definitely a more detailed game plan from top to bottom of what we're looking to do. I would love to say that I talk to every single person the exact same amount, but that's just not possible, and it's not true. Shawn, if you think it's similar, different, but I don't think we talk to everybody the exact same amount. Some it's general, some need more detailed help because they didn't match up.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, there's not really a game plan's only what it is until the first ball's thrown.
Yeah.
I feel. I mean, it's good to have a general idea, but you also want to have an open mind as soon as that first ball goes down the lane, because hey, we can go to the practice session part. I mean, in practice session, even at the World Series, when on Cheetah, urethane looked good, so everybody put it away after the first 15 minutes of the practice session. So you had no idea what it was going to transition. And then when the actual tournament started, when you got to game 3, nobody had a really clear picture at that point, because we hadn't seen that much oil get pushed down the lane and that much of the front part of the lane disappear. So it's the practice session. It is what it is, and then the game plan it's good until the first ball's thrown.
How much do you think that urethane makes your job harder?
It makes it kind of boring sometimes. I mean, if everyone's using it, there's really nothing you can do. You just sit back and chart pairs and see who's getting out of it and what it's starting to look like. That's basically it.
Yeah, feels like you have to spend a lot of time like focusing on, which guys are using it, kind of where they're playing. Whereas with the reactive balls, it's a little bit easier the transition's a little bit more normal, shall we say?
Yes. Yeah. The moves are always left, and then with urethane, they can go either way.
Like, I mean, like when, like probably around 2011 or 2012 when I signed with Storm, Jim had started doing the sheet, but it was not like anywhere near the the work of art it has to be now when you've got like, we could bowl on any pattern. Like I bowled next to BJ Moore, he bowled on Scorpion and he actually made the cut using a pitch black. That just wasn't happening. So having to keep track of that first game, you're almost not able to help anybody because you spend so much time having to keep track of, where everybody's trying to play and everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the first game, I don't really talk to anybody, especially on the bigger bowling centers. I mean, you just can't. If they want the what's my next pair doing or who started here, then they have to suck up not being able to talk to you for a game.
Yeah, I mean, with 15 minutes of practice, we should hopefully have a picture after that's done, and then we have to chart the pair. So A, we know what's going on, and then B, we can pass that information along to you guys. And that's our time to talk to each other to make sure that we are all on the same page too.
Makes sense.
All right, guys. Do you guys help? You help the guys that are non-touring players that are on one of the staffs?
Yeah. Are we talking regional staffs or just like back home when we're doing lessons and stuff?
I'm going to assume they mean on tour. So
if they're rolling a tour stop, but they're on either one of our 3 staffs.
Right.
I mean, if they're in the hunt, then you know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
We get between the 4 of us or 5 of us that are there, we'll know if this is a local guy who's on staff with us. And if he's giving it a pop, then we'll go talk to him.
Oh yeah.
Or her.
Yeah, I do think, and I'll add in here, I think one of the things that's really difficult about that is that without a prior relationship, how they want information, what information they want, what they like to do, all that's really difficult. I think there's a learning curve. And so there's a perception sometimes, I think, that those guys don't get as much help, but it's harder to help people you don't know and don't have any background.
You have no relationship. Yeah, you don't know how they think, what they like to see. I mean, the perfect one for that, he bowls a lot of stops, is Steve Novak. I mean, what he likes to see versus what you guys like to see is not even close. So, I know him because worked with him for a couple of years when I was with Ebonite, and now he's over with us. So I have an easy understanding, or I'm not afraid to go talk to him because I've worked with him already.
Brandon.
Whereas I would never send Brandon Novak. Sorry, I would never send Steve in there to go talk to him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that helps.
Mm-hmm.
How long do I plan on staying on tour? As long as I'm competitive. If I can feel like I can win at least at some point during the year, I think that plays a big part in it, and you feel you're competitive. At this point, there's really, I think Walter's. I guess I can't speak for him, but it sounds like he may retire soon. Pete has not bowled much this year, so really Norm and I think are 2 of the last ones left out there. And then as far as bowling senior tour, if it kicks back off, then I look forward to bowling some of those events. And like I say, it might be fun to be one of the higher rev rates again. It's been a while.
And ball speed.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what John means here. It's almost like you tailored the question for me.
Yeah, this would involve the bar afterwards.
Yeah.
it's a constant. Hey, I think you should try this because of this. I think you should try this because of this. I think you should try this because of this. And then they finally have given up on all their ideas, and then they try it.
I think that's a little bit why I find the longer, like, one pattern tournaments, granted we only have 2 or 3 of them a year, a little easier, because I can process the information and I can look back on the block and be quite analytical about what worked and what didn't work, and then turn up the next day and do something different. Whereas when we bowl like the World Series or now the US Open or some of the regular blocks with like really short one-day deals, it's much harder to do that. But anyway, this is a question I quite like as well from Brian, if it will come up.
Maybe like 3 or 4, really. You kind of adjust those 3 or 4 layouts, but that's about it.
Yeah,
whether you put a hole in it or make the pin taller or lower, but it's all usually try to stay in that. Most people like the 5 to 5.5 area.
Yeah, everybody's got their base layouts that they use, and then if we're looking to adjust off it, we'll tweak it, but typically not getting outside the comfort box with layouts too often.
It seems like one thing that's been quite fashionable, I guess, in recent times has been like going to balls, like shortening the pin buff has been much more widely used rather than having like maybe making the pin significantly different. Like you're saying, really like using like either longer pin buffers or shorter pin buffers, but still within the 5-inch pin range.
Right.
Rather than using like kind of the same sort of pin buffer, but going like maybe a 6-inch and a 4-inch and a 5-inch, like having the 3 balls. It's more a case of having different pin buffers within that same pin cap distance.
Yeah, and when
we get them to slow down in different spots of the lane.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else there you want to address, Stu?
No, I mean, we've got quite a few more questions that we've got hanging out. So
there's another good one here. Do you think it's possible for somebody to be competitive on tour without being on staff?
I don't.
No.
I think if you're in your brand of bowling balls, then you know what those bowling balls do. When you're bouncing from, say a Storm ball to a Brunswick ball to a Motive ball, they all have such different characteristics that it makes it hard to know what range to bounce to.
Mm-hmm. Keeping your progressions simple is the best way to build your arsenal. When you're in one family or one brand, it's the easiest way to do it.
Interesting question here. So when you got different staffers, say Bomo and Simonson, bowling each other on the show, how do you do, how awkward is it, or what are the challenges there? How do you guys handle it?
I usually stand back and let them come to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that they're aware that what they tell me is ammo for me to tell the other person. So that's basically it. I mean, a lot of times, like Simo, for example, won't say too much about what he's seeing on the lanes because he doesn't want me to have that information. Because if I have that information, then the person he's bowling has that information.
Very true. Very true.
So, okay, John, let me just answer this question quickly. I need to give a shout out to John's daughter, Kelsey. And no chance I'll be a Packers fan. Aaron Rodgers is just a history of disappointment, and I've got enough disappointment in my life with my bowling. I don't need to watch it on the football field as well.
And this is for our fans here. This is what Mika had to wear the last time we had a bet. So I'm just saying. You see if I can get this to where it doesn't.
Is that the unicorn one? Yeah.
Yeah. Go.
So I'm not sure he's as ready for that bet as you think he is. I'm just saying.
There we go.
It was a good one for you guys. The players adapted, and the scoring pace was higher this year on the dual patterns. What do you attribute that to?
And that's a pretty easy one. I think that they've tried to create be in the same part of the lane on both patterns instead of trying to be super, super way far left on one and way far right on the other. They've tried to get balls to get them in the same part of the lane for both patterns. That way they can do the same thing.
Yeah, the key to dual patterns has been who can keep their launch angles the closest to each other on both patterns, make them play similar. The players at the bottom of the leaderboard, you'll see, will be the ones that are doing what Shawn said, trying to play the patterns extremely different. It's just hard to repeat when you're doing two different things every other frame.
Another key is how long you can use a urethane ball for. Seems to be another key to those.
Mm-hmm.
Darren Tang is a magician with the pitch black.
Yeah.
Like, he can make that ball last for longer than almost anybody else who doesn't have a super high rev rate. It's insane.
All right. Well, what would you guys say is your most gratifying, rewarding experience as a coach or a rep?
Gratifying?
I think it's always the instant gratification. I mean,
yeah,
that's why I love it. Like, it's always a puzzle every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come in there, you never know what you're going to get, and then you give a suggestion, and you know right away if that's going to work or it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the whole thing in general is just a huge satisfaction.
Yeah, it's Shawn said, it's trying to figure out the invisible puzzle that's in front of us. Working at your level, like gratification was, I like seeing the younger kids that I work with bowl well. The ones I coach at home, seeing the high school bowlers win something for the first time or achieve a new goal. I think that's the most gratifying of all of it.
All right, which place has the best beers on tour? Anywhere on tour or in the world? I'm not sure. You can pick your spots.
I think tour wise, it would have to be in like Ohio.
Yeah,
it's always cold there, so all they got to do is drink. So they brew a lot of good beer.
Yeah, downtown Columbus, like Shawn said, has a ton of good breweries.
And your favorite one?
Mine's in Florida. Mine's Funky Buddha. So
my favorite brewery is Bell's in Michigan.
All right. Should we do the 12 shots with these two guys?
Okay. Are they going to have 12 each, or are they going to have a 6 and 6?
Well, we can let them each answer them if they want.
Okay.
All right.
Buckle up.
All right. We'll let Steve go first, and then after 6, we'll switch it. So, Steve, your favorite band or musician?
My favorite band of all time is Linkin Park.
All right. Shawn?
Eminem.
Oh, nice impersonation. Good job. Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Christmas for sure.
Yeah.
Favorite toy as a child?
Favorite toy as a child? A Game Boy.
Nah, anything Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
There you go. I love it. One thing you can't live without?
Beer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Therefore, you start a whole business off of it. It makes sense.
Right.
Just for reference, Baker gave the answer that we're all supposed to give. He said his wife and his
Your
kid.
wife. Yeah.
If it's Family Feud, the number one answer on the board is phone. So
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Biggest pet peeve?
Right now, people not staying home.
What was that, Steve?
Right now, it's people not staying home.
Yeah.
People not putting their shopping carts back.
All right. That's a good point. Favorite cartoon?
Oh, Family Guy.
Anything Looney Tunes. Like what? Family Guy.
There we go.
You cannot tell me Stewie's not the funniest cartoon of all time.
All right, Shawn, you get to go first now. The most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
quit my job and went to work the hammer booth.
Oh,
That's pretty good. For someone as calculated as Shawn, that was pretty good.
Steve?
Yeah, generally not spontaneous. I have no idea.
Agreeing to be Chris's bull rope.
Yeah.
No, that would be dumbest. But yeah, we'll go with that.
All right. Silliest thing someone has ever said or done to you or for you?
What? Silliest thing someone's ever done,
Done?
said, or done? I don't know. I don't have that one. Sorry.
Someone's ever done?
Yeah, for instance, I got a guy from Germany gave me a bottle of shampoo that had my photo on it. That was,
We're not quite at that status, Chris.
no, but that was but silliest thing somebody's ever said to you or done to you.
I got nothing right now.
All right, moving on.
There's nothing that sticks out.
I mean, another one, a silly question could be to you, Shawn. Do you want another beer?
Yeah, that's Are we gonna have another one? I guess would be something my
those are-
wife has told me while we're at
those
the
are
bar. I
good.
mean, like that's obviously an answer. Oh, actually, Kenny Ryan's got it. So Jake Rollins at a tournament last year came up to me, and his ball, he had used this ball at home a lot, and he asked me in the middle when the block ended if there was a reviver on the truck. And because he was just a regional guy, and he really didn't want to ask for a ball, so he asked if there was a reviver on the truck that we could make his ball new.
Nice one.
Crazy stuff in the pro shop. Like there's guys that have their very own theories on where the fingers and their thumb should go for their span. I mean, and you're talking like the thumb would be like 4 inches off the center line with a ring finger dropped an inch, and they walk in and be like, "What do you think?" And you're just like, "It's good for you, man."
Good luck copying it.
Yeah, well, or they hand drill it. I know someone that will hand drill their bowling balls in their sink at home.
All right.
Things that happen in Michigan.
Don't
Hey,
do
man, when you live in a mitten and it's cold 9 months of the year.
Are either of you good at accents or impersonations?
My wife will tell you I suck. I tried to learn an Irish one, and it's terrible.
They
This here.
make bull reps.
Oh, do you have any Guinness? If you can hear my wife in the background, she's like, "That's terrible." Yeah. And Sloan's not here to make fun of it, so
Yeah, Lucky Charms is coming in over the top rope on that one.
he would.
Lucky dogs.
Celebrity crush.
Jennifer Aniston.
Scarlett Johansson.
Your own most annoying habit.
My what?
I bite my nails.
Your own most annoying habit.
I don't clean my glasses enough.
True.
And what's the best and worst purchase you've ever made?
Oh boy.
Best purchase?
I don't have a single shoe that sticks out, but there are a few shoes that I've purchased that I think are my best purchases. I know what we're supposed to say here. Oh, my wife's engagement
My
ring.
wife's wedding ring.
But and it could also be for the worst for some people.
Yeah.
Worst purchase?
Worst purchase ever.
Well, it's not a LeBron jersey, that's for sure.
No.
But that would be up there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Worst purchase.
Worst thing I've ever bought. I mean, I've regretted some beers after drinking them, but
Thanks, Cliff.
Yeah, dog.
no, I mean, the
I
dogs
don't
are
have a
crazy.
purchase I regret.
Oh.
All right.
There he is, swimming in a river in Egypt.
Yeah, I mean, everything I've bought, I've wanted to buy.
So
They got a lawnmower replaced with a lawn service.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. So my wife just chimed in there. Anything from Home Depot. You're right. Yeah. You're right.
How many shoes do you have, Shawn? This is separate. We're wrapping that thing up.
I don't know. Honestly, I probably have like 100 displayed, and then I have maybe around another 100 that are in boxes and will be worn at some point.
Wow.
And there's a pretty good amount over here. Like that's just one wall, and then there's a wall behind me also of more. So
still got a bit to go to catch up. The president of the Philippines, his wife, she's supposedly got like 5,000 pairs of shoes.
well, I would think their budget's a little bit bigger than mine.
Yeah.
All right, well, guys, we're going to wrap this up, but I appreciate you coming on, giving a little insight about how things work out on tour, and certainly for your insights that are invaluable not only to the people watching today, but obviously us on tour. We'd have a hard time doing what we do without you. So thank you for that. Anything else you'd like to part with?
I just had one thing. We've had a small change to our schedule for next week. We're still going to be doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're calling it Hall of Fame week. We've had a little scheduling change though. We're going to have Norm Duke is going to come in on Wednesday, and we're going to have a Hall of Fame bowler Tim Mack come in on Monday. So that should definitely be one to tune in for. Timmy definitely isn't short of a story. So we're excited to have him. And then on Friday, we have yet to confirm who it is, but we have a couple of different options. So as the week goes on, we'll let you know who that's going to be.
There we go. Hey, guys, I appreciate you joining us today. Anything
No problem. Thank you.
You two want to say?
Just appreciate you guys having us on, and everybody stay safe, stay healthy, drink some beer, enjoy being at home.
Thanks for your time, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
Till next.
Have a good one.
All right.